Monday, January 1st, 2024, new year. Same story. Um, same things. Just keep showing up. Doesn't really matter what year it is or what time it is or any of that stuff. It's if there are games and even if there aren't games, we just keep showing up. Chris, how's it going?
Going well, yeah. Happy New Year to everybody. You know, like you said, we just keep showing up, whether we're talking about college football playoff or the new ranking of the cookies for 2024. We're always going to show up, so we're here.
Yes, sir.
Got a lot of New Year's Day action. We finally got the playoff games are here, and of course we got other bowl games as well. So it should make for somewhat of an interesting day. I think to me it's interesting how split people are on these playoff games. You know, the split is pretty much very a solid divided line on these games. It's like I thought it would be a little bit more one sided, but you know, if you think that Texas needs to win on the money line, why wouldn't you just take the points and get the bigger payout with the other team? That's to me, that's just the stupid bets, right? Not how we do things here at Pick Dogs. We don't take 4.5 point favorites or more on the money line. You would just take the points with the other team if you don't think they can cover the spread. And that way you get the bigger payout. Yep, Texas money line. Stupid bet. Either they're not going to cover. That's why you need them on the money line, so you would take the bigger payout with the other team, or they are going to cover and you just would take the bigger payout. But taking bad odds on a game is not how you make money in betting sports. So, anyways, not if you parlay it. Oh, that's smart. Anyways, that's really you take a bad bet and make it worse. Anyways, we got solid. We got NBA as well as college football. Anything surprising yesterday from the NFL, Chris?
Uh, just how good the Jaguars looked against maybe it was just against the Carolina Panthers, but with C.J. Beathard actually looking like a capable quarterback. 'Cause I had the Panthers in that game, and I thought, you know what? Maybe the Panthers show up, and it's just like the Jaguars, like, no, you know what? It doesn't matter who we got. We're going to be able to hold down the fort. And how bad the Eagles defense looked again against Arizona.
Shout out them Cardinals, man. Thank you, Arizona, man. Thank you. 2 seed. All we gotta do is beat the Commanders and 2 seed secured. Which means that the only chance of not being at home is going to be against the Niners. For my team, that is huge. We are night and day, home and away. Remember, we have won 16 straight home games. Shout out the Arizona Cardinals for that dub yesterday. What else happened yesterday?
Dolphins got shellacked.
Dolphins got they fucking teeth kicked in. I was on them too, so it happens.
Yeah,
Lamar,
I just think that the NFL, what we saw yesterday was, typical for what we see for the NFL at this time of year. And that is the refs just stop throwing flags altogether. And basically, if you allow the Ravens to hold on every single play on both sides of the ball, no one's going to beat them. And I think that's what we saw in every single play of that game. There was holding. And if you allow that, you can't lose. So it'll be interesting to see if they get those same calls in the playoffs. I don't know. They generally don't, but we'll see. But you can go to every single play of that Ravens game. There was blatant holding on every single play on both sides of the ball. So it just it shows just what a crappy product the NFL is. Dolphins Bills is the Sunday night game coming up this week, and
shout out them Steelers. That's what else happened, man. Mike T, 17th straight winning season. Now they got I don't know. Baltimore locked up the 1 seed yesterday, so there's the thought process that they might sit guys next week, but then there's also the thought process that that'll be 2 weeks off of just sitting there. So is that really what you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely. When you see Dolphins lose like Bradley Chubb, Tua, and guys like that all in the last few minutes of a meaningless, blowout, you absolutely don't play your guys in that game. There's no chance that they'll be playing any of those guys. Um, really, no reason whatsoever. But, anyways, got tons of action going on today, and it all starts early in college football. Got um, 3 early games, and then the playoff games kind of get their own thing. I don't know. It's been pretty terrible bowl season in general, but maybe things change here. Like I said, I think in the championship games, just really, really interesting to see how split everybody is on these games. I mean, I haven't heard 5 people one way or the other. I have seen some really stupid comments about the game, and like I say, man, it's like some of these comments, it's like these people think they're experts, but it doesn't even make any sense. Like Michigan, Alabama, people saying, "Oh, you should take the money line if you're taking Alabama." It's actually super cheap points, and there's no value on the money line there in that game at all. I mean, it's like plus 105 or something.
I was
So
gonna say
actually,
it's like even money.
yeah, it's
Something
like
like that.
almost even money. So it's like it's actually getting points really, really cheap. That if some way Michigan happens to stay competitive, you could probably pretty much get this game at 2, and basically you have overtime insurance, for free. And you're betting the money line, you're getting $5. It is so bad. It's such a bad bet, the money line, at this point. And also the money line betting in that Alabama game has skewed the point spread betting numbers, right? To make it look like there's, like it's all one way or the other, but actually there's a lot of money line betting in that game, more so than point spread betting. So pretty crazy. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Get to these other games first. Just trying to get my board together here so I can make sure I have all the right lines and everything before we get started. But
Happy New Year, folk. Smash it per usual, 2024. Gym session will be up after the show, fellas. Long morning.
we got LSU and Wisconsin in the first game of the day. This is the ReliaQuest Bowl. LSU line down to 8.5 in this thing. Wisconsin absolutely terrible this year. They have been pretty much straight dog shit. The Big Ten has been terrible, in the bowl season. They got the one win with Maryland, but really outside of that, they have been shellacked by these SEC teams. Chris, you see anything different in this one? As Daniel's not playing, and we know Brian Kelly has the worst defenses of any. I mean, he has the worst defenses of any SEC team by far. He could be one of the worst defensive coaches to ever coach in the SEC, at least in the last 25 years. But he can coach some offense. But we've seen him at Central Michigan, very much the same story. We saw him at Cincinnati, very much the same story. We saw him at Notre Dame, very much the same story, and now we see him at LSU. Very much the same story, where against physical teams he struggles. You think Luke Fickell, you think physical, but this Wisconsin team has been just terrible. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, and I think the cap in this game comes down to: do you think Wisconsin can get the offense going even against this bad LSU defense? And I don't think they can. They have nobody, and like even the best chances I think that they had at skill position players being able to put up points. Guys are injured. Your starting running back, Braylon Allen, he's opting out. 3 of your top wide receivers are gone, or at least 2 of them are gone. One of them's injured, but he's listed on the depth chart. Just feels like a very, very thin Badgers team. Jaden Daniels, like you said, opting out, but Garrett Nussmeier is solid. And it does change the look of this LSU offense, so maybe Wisconsin doesn't have as much footage to prep for, because obviously Jaden Daniels can move the pocket a lot better than Nussmeier can, but Nussmeier is a great pocket passer. So I think LSU just takes advantage of a very thin Wisconsin team that was bad offensively to begin with. So Don't love the LSU defense, but I think LSU does enough here to win by double digits. I'm taking LSU laying the points.
Jay?
I'm going to lean towards Wisconsin. I know they're terrible, but I'm not laying double digits with the LSU backups. I just feel like when I've tried to do that this college football bowl season, every time I've gotten my ass kicked. The backups are just not as good as the starters. I know this is the SEC team. I know Wisconsin is ass, but I think having this many points is kind of valuable. I could see LSU winning this game by a touchdown. So I'm going to lean towards Wisconsin.
I could see this game being 35-0 at halftime LSU and probably ending up like a 56-17 type game. I just think that LSU is a system team, and Brian Kelly runs systems. And he went 7 deep that year. Remember that year at Cincinnati when they made it to the Sugar Bowl? They were on their 7th string quarterback, and they were still putting up numbers. What was his name? I can't remember what his name was, but they were literally on their 7th string quarterback. They went 7 deep into quarterback that year and still made it to the Sugar Bowl at Cincinnati. So Brian Kelly has been doing it for everywhere like this. I just don't think Wisconsin has any answers. And when you look at Wisconsin's pathetic wins, Minnesota sucks. Nebraska sucks. Lost to Northwestern by 2 touchdowns. Lost to Indiana, who's coach firing bad, by 6. Lost to Ohio State by 14. That's like their Super Bowl game. Then they beat Illinois by 4 points. They lost to Iowa. They scored 6 in that one. Wins over Rutgers, a very bad Purdue team, and Georgia Southern. This Wisconsin team is really, really bad. And I think Luke Fickell might have better days ahead of him. But we've seen him in the Big Ten before as a coach, and he was not good as the fill-in coach at Ohio State the year that I believe it was Jim Tressel was suspended before Urban Meyer was hired. And I could see LSU putting up a very, very big number. I just don't think Wisconsin has any answers offensively. Most of the time we've watched Wisconsin this year, they've struggled to complete a pass. So I just don't know how they're going to put points up, especially with Edwards out. We know that, LSU is missing a lot of players, but these guys, look at the NFL. They're loaded with LSU players. Loaded. Every team has LSU players and key players. So those guys weren't always, frontline starters. I think LSU just way too much talent on both sides of the ball. Go to our next game. It's going to be Tennessee taking on Iowa. This is an interesting game in this one because Tennessee, of course, Joe Milton preparing for the NFL draft. I know teams are just beating down the door to get a Joe Milton on their roster. I hear so many teams saying, we're going to draft Joe Milton this year with a top tier draft choice. So he should be preparing for the NFL draft because missing this game, it gives him an extra 3 hours to prep, maybe 4 hours to prep for the NFL. And I think that 4 hours is going to make a big difference outside of the shit stain of a quarterback that he's been throughout the bulk of his career, which landed Tennessee in this game at an embarrassing 8-4. Jay, you over the Vols' performance at Florida yet? I know that one left a mark on you.
That one did. Both of these teams had games this year that left a serious mark. 2 of the worst games of the year for me. That Tennessee lost to Florida, and then that Iowa lost to Minnesota.
Nice.
The little pig. Iowa is going to avenge the little pig today, man. I'm on the Hawkeyes, man. I just think defensively, I know what I'm getting from Iowa. I don't know what I'm getting offensively from Tennessee. I just think Iowa comes in here, plays its regular style football game, and that's going to be enough to win this game in the end. And like I said, I'm getting plus money at that as well with the better team, in my opinion. So I'm not overcomplicating it. I'm taking Iowa plus the points and straight up money line.
I like Iowa as well. We've seen Tennessee struggle against any team with the semblance of a defense, scoring 10 points against Georgia, scoring 7 points against Missouri. The highlight of the season was the 20 they put up against Bama and the 20 that they put up against Texas A&M. But outside of that, anytime they've faced any team with any kind of defense, scoring double digits has been a very, very tall order. And I don't think it gets any easier here against Iowa. I think this one will come down to a turnover if Iowa can get the outright win. They're definitely going to have to hit some field goals, but I think Iowa is the play for me as well. Chris?
Yeah, I'm going with Iowa as well on this one. Nico, I can't remember butcher his name, Iamieva, taking over for Joe Milton. He's supposed to be the stud freshman quarterback that is built for Josh Heupel's system, but
I thought you were the stud quarterback.
no, I'm just a stud. A quarterback has nothing to do with it.
Stud handicapper Chris Ruffolo.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. I'm okay with that. I couldn't think of a worse matchup here to make your debut. High pressure bowl game against one of the best defensive units, if not the best defensive unit in the country. I'm looking for Iowa to make Nico uncomfortable, and it wouldn't surprise me if Iowa did their damage with defensive touchdowns. This offense might not score, and we could still see Iowa win this game outright. So,
what's the trophy for this game? Is it a big Cheez-It?
No, it's usually like a bowl filled with Cheez-Its.
Okay. Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
Yeah, this is the first year the Citrus Bowl has been Cheez-Its. The Cheez-It Bowl has generally been in Arizona.
Okay.
I think they have a couple of Cheez-It has a couple of bowls.
I've had a couple of bowls of Cheez-Its myself.
Reason I'm asking is because a part of me needs to see Iowa raise a trophy just to avenge the little pig, man. I'm still hey. This is not a fair catch, just to let y'all know. This is not a fair catch. Just block him. I'm going to remember that forever. Damn.
Here's another one. LSU money line. It's the same guy that likes all these favorites on the money line. It's like, you got the wrong show. You're at the wrong place, man. Go over to one of the other stations. We really don't care about 10-point favorites on the money line here. Like ridiculous, man.
We're here to gamble, not to not lose.
Yeah, we play to win, not to not lose. Correct. So it's like, man, way more likely to find a more aggressive line than to take a money line on a giant favorite like that. Jay, they're telling you to upload the video. These are people that don't even buy anything from you. They're always the loudest boos always come from the cheapest seats. 100% of the time. It never fails.
After the live show, guys, it was a long morning. It'll be up today, though.
I mean, we appreciate everybody that watches and, everything at Pick Dogs, whether you buy or you don't. But it's like, I mean, if you're not going to support what we do, it's tough for you to really, put demands out there on people. Anyways, we got Liberty up against Oregon. I don't think there's an NBA game till 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, so we're good.
Got Liberty taking on Oregon. I know my friend Pete's nephew plays for Liberty, plays linebacker. I'm pretty excited about this game. Oregon has not been a good neutral site cover team at all. But Bo Nix playing in the game, and we got to expect that Oregon's going to put some points up. But I don't know, man.
Shout out Bo Nix, man, for playing in the game. Just shout out to him.
Well, he's a gamer. I mean, there are certain players, and up until really this year has been the worst that we've ever seen. You've had a couple guys sit here and there throughout the years, but last year we started to see more of it, and then more of it this year. But historically, everybody plays in every game, man. It's like Bo Nix's father played at Auburn. I mean, he played in his bowl game. It's like everybody plays in their bowl game. It's like it's ridiculous, man. It's like, I think the best comment I ever heard was Chase Winovich at Michigan when he's like, "Well, why are you playing when half your, a lot of your teammates are sitting on?" He's like, "You'd have to pry my dead body off of this field to get me to not play because I'm here to play football." It's like that's why else? It's kind of like Ruffolo taking the Ruffolo in the game. It's like, why else are we here, man? Certainly not. Most of these guys certainly aren't lighting up the GPA average for the university, or the test scores for admissions. Anyways, man, I like Liberty in this one plus the points. I think that this is a team that really cares, and maybe they're either going to get run over by 100 or they're going to be right there at the end. I think they're right there. This is a team that really is excited to be there and really. I think they're good enough to hang with Oregon. Chris?
Yeah, I like the over here. My initial look was Oregon when it was like 16.5, but then I saw all the players that could potentially opt out for this game. But like you said, with Bo Nix and Bucky Irving playing, it looks like Oregon still cares. Bo Nix said he doesn't want to end the year on a loss. He loves Dan Lanning, so he decided to come back for the bowl game. But like I said, I think this is still around 17.5, and that leaves a key number that you could easily see Liberty sneak in the back door. I don't think Liberty gets many, if any, stops on Oregon in this game, but like I said, that backdoor leaves it open for Liberty to score some garbage time touchdowns and push us over the number. So I think whichever way this game goes, whether it's like an Oregon blowout or a close game, I think we're getting points in this game. So I'm taking the over.
You still think that it's a key number, even though Oregon, really known for going for two, right? That's
fair.
That's their thing. But
Fair.
Liberty has won 13 in a row, man, plus 600 on the money line. I'm going to take a shot at it. Jay?
It's not a bad place to take a shot. I'm with Roof. I like the over here. I think points. I just don't see Liberty really getting a whole lot of stops with Bo Nix and company playing. But on the other side, this Liberty offense, when you go look at it, they're a point-scoring team as well. I think they will be able to score some points on this Oregon defense. I like the over. And in all honesty, I would grab the points with Liberty as well. It's kind of what Mitch said. Liberty, this is probably the biggest bowl game in French in their history.
Easily.
Yeah, so these boys, they come into play, man. This means something. You know what I mean? What I've noticed in college football is both. Some teams it means something, some teams it don't. And I'm just trying to play on the teams that I think have the extra motivation. And I feel like that's Liberty here. So over and Liberty plus the points. And to be honest, plus 600. Y'all know me, man.
Oregon has not covered the spread in its last 6 neutral site games. That includes the championship games for the Pac-12 that they played in. So, that's also something to be said. But, Dan Lanning, different coach than there was.
Do you think there's something to be said for Liberty and the strength of schedule, the worst strength of schedule in the country for playing Conference USA, and then before that?
I think there's always something to be said about strength of schedule, and we'll talk about that in a second with the next game as well, as Michigan takes on Alabama, and Michigan probably playing what I believe, a lot has talked about the eye test and things like that, and I believe Michigan has played one of the worst schedules in the country for a major power team. They played nobody out of conference. The teams that they beat in the conference both got shellacked in their bowl games, Penn State and Ohio State, and both of them played a significant amount of their starting players in those games. Alabama on the other side of this one, been there, done that. Nick Saban, Jim Harbaugh has never covered the spread in a bowl game as a head coach. Michigan 0-6 against the number in their last 6 bowl games, absolutely blown up last year as a big favorite against TCU. Same things that people were saying about the Michigan team last year. Oh, they got the killer defense. They got everything. Quentin Johnson made them look like they were nothing. And I know Alabama, Milroe, hasn't had the best arm, but man, do they have a lot of All-Americans on this team at Alabama. Chris, the earth will move here in this one. It's at the Rose Bowl, a little bit of a disadvantage to Alabama, as if they would have got the sugar in this one. It would have been basically a home game for them. In the Rose, it is more of a neutral site, but doesn't mean that, Michigan's had no success in the Rose Bowl. So doesn't really mean all that much. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Alabama here. Jalen Milroe, his arm's gotten better over the season. Like as the season's progressed, he's been able to take a lot more shots downfield. And I get why.
Do you think that's because teams have had to come up to respect the run and basically leave more lanes out there, for his receivers?
Well, yeah, I think it's everything. I think it's his ability to move the pocket. I think it's the receivers. I think it's the fact that we're starting to see the running back room, take up chunk yards. The offensive line is starting to get a push, and the defense is solid. The defense has been solid pretty much all year long. Alabama's had a couple of close calls. I think they beat Arkansas by 3, Auburn by 3 in the Iron Bowl, but the defense has been solid throughout. And Jalen Milroe, I really like what I've seen as he's progressed throughout the year. The bottom line for me is I thought the Big Ten was really soft this year. It has been for the last couple of years. You have Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State at the top more often than not. and then maybe Iowa, and then there's just that drop off to teams like Rutgers, Maryland, Michigan State. So I think the SEC is just tough perennially year after year. And Nick Saban, not a coach I want to give a month's worth of prep to. You got a coach that's won 6 straight college football playoff semifinals against a coach that's lost 6 straight bowl games, like you said. So give me Alabama here. I think just all the edges go towards the Crimson Tide here.
Jay, a lot of people on Michigan in this one.
After Bama beat Georgia and I was yelling from the mountaintops that they would, I've been on Alabama since then saying they were going to win this game. I woke up this morning and had a different feeling in my stomach. I'm taking the Wolverines.
Sounds like you have to go to the bathroom. Really?
I'm taking the Wolverines, man.
Based on what? I mean, based on.
Here's the thing. Here, let me try to explain it. And
I'd love to hear it because I know there's a lot of people out there on Michigan. And I say if Michigan can win this game, hey, congratulations. You know,
I get it.
Big time congratulations. But you have a head coach that's never won anything. Anything. He's never won anything. And then you have a team, a program. All right. I'm old as dirt. In my entire lifetime, this program has won absolutely nothing. They have half of a national championship that they split with a team that won 3 out of 4 years national championship that would have shellacked them.
I understand that, but there's a reason we play the games. Like there's
exactly, and
you know what I mean?
The reason why we saw TCU
and there's sometimes
TCU
where,
beat Michigan half to death last year.
There's sometimes where the trend just gets bucked, and here's what did it for me. Over the full course of this college football season, Bama has the better win. I will give them that. They have the better win than Michigan. But I just think Michigan's the deeper team. I do.
They're not. Well, you're wrong on that. You're wrong. It's not there, Jay. Actually, if you're going by that, it's actually not even close.
I very well could be, Mitch.
No, you are. If they're gonna win, it's gonna have to be like something like the starters step up and all that stuff because Alabama's got way more depth than Michigan.
I don't know.
I
think Michigan's
I follow college football recruiting like a hawk, I can tell you that Michigan is not even close. It's apples and oranges.
I know.
Alabama had the number 1 recruiting class in the nation again last year.
There were stretches this season where I was legitimately calling Michigan the best team in the country.
Yeah, I know. And you also called for Shedeur Sanders to win the Heisman, but I mean, you know, and Colorado was going to beat Oregon, and you know, all these other. I mean, they're going to beat USC.
I get it. I get it. I totally get it. But like I said, I woke up today and my heart told me Michigan. My gut told me Michigan. It could be the bubble guts.
Yeah, it sounds like you got to go to the bathroom to me.
What'd you eat yesterday? What'd you eat yesterday? I can tell you, it's probably coming back to haunt you.
But, you know, I'm going to take the Wolverines in this one, man. The line's down to 1.5. It's going to be a hell of a game, man. I hear both sides. I really do. I'm not mad at anybody for taking Alabama here. I'm not going to sit here and try to talk you off. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just simply telling you guys I woke up this morning with the feeling in my stomach, Wolverines, and I'm going to roll with it.
Well, you got a lot of really bad numbers here that work against Michigan in this game. Nick Saban 9-4 in college football playoff games. Michigan, of course, has never won one. Of course, Nick Saban, all those national championships. Michigan, they haven't won one in my lifetime. They won a split one with Nebraska, but Alabama's got just under the Saban era, just a bunch. When you look at Nick Saban's record in games where they have where he has 30 days or more to prepare, he's the greatest of all time. Of all time. Up against a guy who's never won who hasn't even won a covered a spread in a bowl game.
You're right.
This is an epic mismatch. And if Michigan beats Alabama in this one, this is like David versus Goliath proportions. This is the Michigan is the sucker of sucker bets, man.
No, it's not. You're blowing Alabama up now. Like,
oh no, it's not. It has nothing to do with Alabama. It's a fade of a fraud of Michigan. This is a fraud team. They've never won anything.
You're just fading the history of Michigan.
Fading this team. Who did they beat? Who did they beat to earn? Who? What makes them more deserving of this spot than Florida State, who played a much tougher schedule?
Mitch, I get everything you're saying. I really, really do. And I said, I think Bama has the better win and all of that. But roster for roster, player for player, man.
Alabama has the better roster, player for player.
I think it's Michigan.
Well, let's look at the NFL draft projections. Okay, I haven't looked at this ahead of time, but let's look at the NFL draft projections for this year's NFL draft and see how many Alabama players are projected to get drafted versus how many Michigan players are projected to get drafted. My guess is it's 2 or 3 to 1, Alabama.
I don't know. So
I'm going to guess it's 2 or 3 to 1.
Right. You very well may be right. But
let's look at the first round. Let's just look at the projected. You say they have better players. Let's look at the first round.
I think the first 3 rounds are up anywhere.
Yeah, they're all up. You could go to Tankathon. They have the mock. I think that's always a good
game. I can't wait to watch this one.
The last time that they played and Alabama had this much time to prepare, they beat them by 50. So it might not be such a great game, Jay. They beat the freaking brakes off of them. Michigan had the Heisman candidate. In that game, Michigan had the Heisman candidate. They had Shoelace. They had everything going. And, I mean, it was a slaughter of slaughters. So, and it was Nick Saban. It was the same thing. So, I don't see – if Michigan wins, I just say congratulations to them. I just don't see the path. If you can't beat TCU, you sure as hell can't beat Alabama. And if you can beat Georgia – you sure as hell can beat Michigan. I mean, Michigan's 2 wins. Penn State and Ohio State, both those teams got the crap beat out of them in their bowl games against SEC teams. They got if both those games would have gone on even longer than they would have been, Ohio State scored 3 points. Penn State had no answers against Ole Miss. They scored 1 touchdown on a deflected ball that was probably the luckiest play you'll ever see in your entire life. And, Lane Kiffin, when they interviewed him after the play, he goes, that's the luckiest play you'll ever see. He's like, it's part of the game, but it's the luckiest play you'll ever see. When we look at the mock draft, okay, and here it is. So when we start looking for Alabama and Michigan players as we go down, we're already at number 10. There's neither, but at 11, Alabama. Number 12, Alabama. Dallas Turner, the edge rusher, and Latham are projected to go 10 and 11.
4-0.
Kool-Aid McKinstry at 17 for Alabama. I still don't see any Michigan players. Terry and Arnold to go Alabama, the corner. So there's 4 Alabama players projected ahead of any Michigan. I see 0 Michigan players projected to go in the first round. 0.
First one is J.J. McCarthy at 42.
At 42.
And
that's a reach. That's a reach.
And 5 for Alabama before that.
Yeah, that's a reach at 42. We look at, you go further down the road, another edge rusher. And then you're right, there's McCarthy there. And then let's go further down the road. Here's another Michigan, Chris Jenkins. Okay, so it's 2 Michigan, 5 Bama.
Michigan really picks it up in the 3rd round. They have a bunch of guys that go in the 3rd round.
A good team of 3rd round picks.
Get it done, man. Get it done.
I don't even see it. I see it at pick number 93. Rod Moore.
It's when you get to the compensatory picks, they have like a card that goes.
The King. They clean up in the compensatories. Zach Zinter cleaning up in the compensatory. I just think Alabama is the much better team, and I think if Michigan wins, I say if Michigan beat them, I say congratulations. But
what's the path for Alabama? Is it running the football or is it putting it in the air?
I think it's just the defense just absolutely dominates this Michigan team. I don't think they're able to freaking score.
Clear cut is not even close as Michigan's.
They've played nobody, Jay. They haven't played anybody.
And I give you that. I understand.
Who did they play that makes them a good defense? Rutgers?
I understand your argument with that. You know, I already said Michigan. I mean, Alabama has the better win. They do. I can't argue that point.
They have the better 5 wins. They have 5 better wins.
Okay.
They have 5 better wins, man. Michigan's terrible.
The way I see it, Mitch, what's the old quote? Everybody's got a plan by Mike Tyson. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Michigan's not been punched in the mouth yet. They haven't.
Well, they did last year when they played TCU. They got punched in the mouth. And I gotta say, if you can't beat TCU, you sure as hell ain't gonna beat Bama.
I'm just saying, I don't think they faced the level of physicality that they're going to have against in this game.
It's gonna look like a jailbreak on every single time he drops back the pass.
The other thing to keep in mind, J.J. McCarthy's mobility is going to be huge for Michigan, and he's got a bum ankle right now, at least from what I was reading. So if he's warming up and his ankle's okay, then they have a puncher's chance. But
with all that being said, I think the points are the better play with Bama because you're getting them cheap.
Yeah,
you're getting the points cheap here. It's like
and I'm not, and for me, I'm not paying the juice with Michigan. I would lay the
so Michigan's defense is statistically better. But if Alabama played Rutgers and Wisconsin and all those other teams, they would be. It's not apples to apples comparison. It's like looking at college basketball offenses and defenses right now. They have not played the same schedules. You know, it's not an apples to apples comparison. You know, what we see is that when we see the SEC teams, the upper echelon SEC teams play the upper echelon Big Ten teams so far in bowl competition, it hasn't been close. There hasn't been a game yet. The only win that the Big Ten has is Maryland beat a 6-6 Auburn team. That's the only win they have on them. It's been a domination. It's been a show.
I give more credit for the Ohio and Penn State win than you do. But I also know that you're not high of those two programs. So I understand.
No, well, Penn State, James Franklin is 3-21 against ranked teams.
I know your spiel. I know.
I'm aware. But so Penn State played everybody against Ole Miss. They got frickin' boat raced. And it would have been that game the longer that game went, the worse it got. I said on the live show that morning, I said we were getting points with Ole Miss. I said lay 14. And we cashed huge, but I took all the heat on the Auburn loss. But meanwhile, I was plus 400 and change on the Ole Miss win. You know, and you know, whatever. That's just the nature of the YouTube commenter. But it's not an apples to apples comparison, you know.
Fair enough.
I think when you look at, you know, these people that believe that they're sharp bettors, and I'm going to show you guys some stuff during the week to show you that you're not this week, because our friends, I'll show you what our guys did this week. Pretty impressive. Yesterday, our guys cashed tickets over $500,000 yesterday. Can you believe that?
It's about nothing but the tie. I like Willie. Willie, one of my favorite follows on TikTok. He's fun. You ever see him on TikTok, Willie?
I don't go on TikTok.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
I don't go on TikTok.
It's about nothing but the tie.
Florida State got trashed. They played 21 players sat. You know, it really doesn't matter. You know, that means 0.
It's gonna be a good game, man. I can't wait, Mitch. If you're around and you want to go live, I'll probably be sitting right here. So just let me know.
I would do handicap bet on the Michigan team. I'll go ahead and do whatever the hell you want. I think it would be an epic upset if Michigan won that game. I think it would be big. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying there's no path. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying they're going to get, more than likely are going to get stomped, and I just don't think paying up on them to get, you know, for a 10% chance or less of a cover is worth it.
Fair. We'll see.
Well, there's nothing there that says that they could beat a Nick Saban coach team. You certainly can't give Harbaugh the edge over Nick Saban.
You can't.
I mean, it's not even close, right? One guy's 0-6 against the spread in bowl games, and the other guy's got a closet full of national championships.
I'm banking on the players on the field. I can't prove it.
Well, we'll see today. We'll see today.
We will.
See today, and I think that Bama, what you're going to see has so much team speed over Michigan and so much power and strength that it's going to be a mismatch. If you lose to TCU, you're going to get boat raced by Alabama. And, I mean, there really is no other way to go. Anyways, interesting. And then we have our next game, Texas against Washington. Of course, these teams played last year in the bowl game. It was all Washington in that game. Bijan Robinson did not play in that game. So Texas was, I believe, both their 1 and 2 running backs were out in that game. But it was Washington that got the win outright in that game against Texas last year. Washington, here's a team with a chip on his shoulder as well, getting very, very little respect. They beat Oregon twice this year. They were dogs after beating them the first time. And, in, let's just say, Washington games, the dogs do extremely well. Jay, I see you switched teams, jumped on the bandwagon, as is your style. All of a sudden, he's horns until next season starts, and he's back on Coach Prime. And we'll have to see how that works out. But 4.5, I've seen 3.5, 4.5. Seems like a lot of points. Jay, what do you think?
As I've said also for most of the season, I feel like Texas, player for player, roster for roster, man for man, is one of the best teams in the country. That's one thing you got to at least give me credit for. I've been consistent with those two. I've said.
Well, you also said they were not your team because they're not geographically close to you, and that you were a Colorado fan.
But with that being said, man, I do think that I like Penix. I like the receivers for Washington. I do. But other than those two positions, and I think Quinn Ewers, Penix, in my humbleness opinion, I think it's a wash. And I think everywhere else on the field, Texas is head and shoulders the better team. I believe that wholeheartedly. I don't see Washington getting the stops in this game to keep them in this game. Texas, I think they're going to be able to move the ball up and down the field. I think their defense is 2 times better than Washington's. I think they are able to get the stops. I think Texas actually wins this game by double digits. Y'all can call it a homer, bro. I don't care. Take Washington. It's coming. Take Washington.
We're calling it a homer, but it's,
I don't care. I'm taking Texas, though. I'm on the Longhorns.
I'm on Washington on the money line in this game. I think Texas, what we saw against Oklahoma, was basically a lesser version of Michael Penix and a lesser version talent-wise of what Washington has at the skill positions. And Texas just could not hang in that sort of environment. I think Texas is going to be able to move the ball on Washington's defense. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, but I think that's outside of Texas's comfort zone. And I could see Washington winning the game outright. I think the 4.5 is definitely the way to go, as this one could come down to the last possession either way, any way that you slice it as well, because it is going to be a little bit more of a track meet style game. But I'm going to take the points here with Washington, but I also like the money line. Chris?
Yeah, I lean towards Washington. I think for me, the better play is the under. I think the total is just too high. I think this is going to be a fairly smash mouth kind of football game. I think whichever way it sets up, I think it goes under the total. Whether Washington takes advantage of a somewhat depleted Texas offense, because I mean, let's face it, they are missing some key pieces. Jonathan Brooks, their top running back, out. He's lost for the season. Xavier Worthy, their top receiver, he was seen on crutches after the Big 12 title game, but Sarkisian said he's confident that Worthy will play, so we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. But those are 2 big pieces for this Texas offense. So I think Washington could potentially key in on those vacancies and make life difficult for Ewers. Or if Texas decides to come out and give Washington a shot, hit them harder than they probably had ever been hit in Pac-12 play, well, I think it's going to come down to that. So give me the under, lean towards Washington on the points.
Mitch, Sark Harbaugh national championship game. I think he might have a heart attack.
It would be one of those tough games that'd probably be just. I don't think it's going to happen. But
just like either, could you imagine just if it happened, Harbaugh versus Sarkisian in a national championship? Mitch would be like, I can't win. This is a rare game where everybody loses.
Oh man.
Yeah, see, that's the noise of it.
Now we're gonna see. I'm excited for both games today, and I hear both arguments. I do. I really do. But I just come on here and tell y'all where I'm at, man. Smash that like button. Appreciate all y'all in here, man, on New Year's Day.
1,212 people watching.
Sure. Appreciate all y'all, man.
Smash that like button.
Great day of sports. Hook 'em. What time does this game start? It's the
That's 8. I think it's 8 o'clock. I think
7:45. Yeah, for me. The Sugar Bowl
should be interesting. All right, go to the NBA. Solid card for New Year's Day.
Tricky card, in my opinion. It's one that This one makes me nervous. This NBA card makes me nervous. Mondays always make me nervous, though.
I never get nervous. Bugs the crap out of people. I was super confident.
Nah, today's card makes me nervous.
We got the Timberwolves on the road here against the Knicks. This line moving between a point and a point and a half. Timberwolves have been pretty much 16 and 15 against the number, despite that 24-7 record. The Knicks, they got it done on Christmas Day. Do they do the Christmas New Year's double? Get it done in this spot. Chris?
Yeah, I'm taking Minnesota here. 12 straight wins as favorites for the Timberwolves. 10-6 straight up on the road. I know that against the spread numbers kind of stink, but I think that's just usually when they're laying a few more points than they are here. I think it's an adjustment period for the Knicks, trading away R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel quickly. They're going to get OG Anunoby back, but again, it's just going to take time to really implement him in the lineup. And,
not Emmanuel quickly.
Yeah, I know.
Does he even count?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a solid point guard. He's a nice backup point guard, better than what we had with Malachi Flynn. So
it's true.
Yeah, give me Minnesota here. That defense that the Knicks were able to rely on earlier in the season, they've given up 117 points or more in 5 straight. So give me Minnesota here.
I'm on the Knicks. I do think they do the Christmas Day, New Year's Day trifecta. They have lost 3 straight. I'm really not surprised they lost 3 straight. They lost 3 straight to my teams, all 3 of my teams. Thunder Buddies, Magic, Pacers, all on the road. That's not the Knicks, at least not this season. Madison Square Garden, all the eyeballs on them because it's the early game, 2 o'clock. We've seen them beat the Bucks in this similar spot. I just think this is where the lights are bright. I don't trust Minnesota in big games yet. I just don't. They got to prove it to me. And expecting them to win on the road in a big game, I will not. Taking the Knicks here in the Garden.
I don't like this matchup for the Knicks. I think the Timberwolves just are the better team here, and I think that they're going to win the battle of the boards. I think that's where this one's going to give me won and lost. I don't know, man. I just have zero faith in the Knicks at all, so I'm going to roll with the Timberwolves. Get it started early at 3 o'clock. Next up, we got the Cavaliers traveled to Seattle to take on the Sonics.
That never gets old.
That one's sticking. We're sticking it all the way till they change their uniform colors to green and yellow. We just want to try it out. We're just trying it out. We're not moving to Seattle. We just want to try out these new uniforms.
Raptors free falling right now. They've lost 4 or 5. We all just saw them lose to the Pistons. Shout out Ruffolo, man. Shout out Ruffolo. Ruffolo told y'all 2 to 3 weeks in advance the exact date it was gonna happen, man. He did. Shout out Roof, man. I gotta give him some credit for that. That was some real goat shit right there.
Someone call me no Nostradamus, but
that was real goat shit, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm taking the Raptors here. I don't love it, fellas, and I'm not betting this game, but off that terrible, disappointing loss, bounce back at the crib in a revenge spot on Cleveland. I don't love it. I know they just lost to the Pistons. I'm well aware, bro, but I don't also like betting Cleveland on the road. Yes, they balled on the road their last 2, beat Chicago, beat Dallas, but I just think the Raptors lock in today off that terrible loss and bounce back at home. So that's why I told you guys at the beginning. Today makes me nervous because it's like, ugh, you know what I mean? But it's the Raptors in this spot.
Just seems that the Raptors getting a lot of love here, for what reason, I don't know. I just think that this Raptors team is going to be very welcomed in Seattle when they show up. And, of course, I'll be eating for free in Seattle for the rest of my life. So I'll be pretty excited about that. And I'm going to take the Cavs to help the moving trucks, load up the moving trucks from Toronto to Seattle. I think the players will appreciate it too. They want to pay that GST and PST or whatever the hell it's called.
Now it's HST.
Yeah, or SHIT or whatever the hell it is.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, because it used to be you could pay 5%, 8%, or whatever, but now it's either you pay the 5% or you pay both in one, 13%. Stupid.
Yeah. Y'all got any New Year's Day meals or anything planned today?
I'm invited to a party.
I gotta see what's open on Uber Eats.
Yep, I'm popular. I'm invited to a party.
He walks in. I'm Mitch from Pick Dogs.
Mitch from Pick Dogs. Smash that like button. Everyone will be like, "Who do you like to win the Super Bowl?" Got the Pistons against the Rockets.
Give me the under in that last game, by the way.
Who asked you? I like the Rockets in this one against the Pistons. I think the Pistons had their fun, but stringing them together just not going to happen. I understand it's a pretty decent spread going on here, but so be it. I'm taking the Rockets at home.
Believe it or not, a 3-win team has actually strung together back-to-back wins this season, but yeah, not here. I'm with you on the Rockets. The Rockets just finally get a bit of a reprieve where they can flex some defensive muscle on teams at home. They're the 7th best home net rating, 3rd best in home defensive efficiency. Detroit's been outscored by 13 points per 100 possessions on the road this year. I think Houston bounces back. I think they win this one by double digits. Give me Houston.
I'm in agreement. I'm on the Rockets in this one as well. I like the spot for them. It's going to be their 5th home game in their last 6 games. They're coming off of 3 straight home losses, which is insane because before that 3-game stretch of losing, they had only lost 1 game at home all season. This is a classic bounce back, get right spot at home. Like Mitch said, the Pistons, they had their fun. We were on it. We caught it. Woo! Shout out to Pistons. Now it's back to regular schedule programming, fading their ass. Houston, still a money-making machine at the crib. And like I said, you guys know I love the bounce back. 11-5-1 against the number at home. And that's coming off of 3 straight ATS losses. They're 11-5-1. They've still covered in basically 70% of their home games. I think it's a perfect bounce back spot at home.
Next up, got the Bucks and the Pacers. These teams getting to know each other pretty intimately.
Yes,
They
they
seem to
are.
play each other a lot. Jay, 260 is the total in this thing.
Yeah. So, I was in attendance for one of these games that these two teams played. I was at the one in Vegas. Pacers ended up winning, of course, we know. The Bucks smashed them that last game, but Pacers lead the season series 2-1. If they're gonna give me 8.5 in my back pocket with the Pacers in a series we've seen them compete, I'm gonna take them. That's just my thought process, guys. I don't like laying huge numbers with the Bucks. I just don't. I never feel comfortable laying huge numbers with Milwaukee. There's going to be games where they do blow out teams that they're better than, and I do think, in the grand scheme of things, the Bucks are the better team. But I don't think they're 8.5 points better than Indiana. I don't. Indiana also kind of they're out of that funk that they were in leaving Vegas. They're out of it. And I think, and also we've gotten our value back on the Pacers. They've strung three together. A nice win in Houston. Like I said, Houston at the time was rolling at the crib. They were like 12-1 straight up at home. So to beat Houston in Houston, that's really encouraging. Chicago, remember Chicago this past month to end the month of December, they were rolling as well. The Pacers went on the road and smashed them 120-104, and then smashed the Knicks at the crib. Pacers, they're starting to play well again, and we've gotten our value back on these boys. 8.5. Sign me up. I'm taking the Pacers. Mitch, your favorite player is out, though.
Giannis's brother?
Yeah, he's out.
How did he get out? What did he do? Stub his toe on the coffee table?
He's out to the third. Let me see what it is. Personal reasons.
Yeah, he stubbed his toe on the coffee table.
It says personal reasons.
Jeez, yeah, because he doesn't want to tell anybody. That's what he did.
But yeah, I'm on the Pacers here, fellas.
I'm gonna take the Bucks. I'm still a little leery of the Pacers. I like the way the Bucks are playing. I also like the over here, man. 260. just to say I did it. These are all-star game numbers, man. 260.
It's just like what's on my bucket list? Play a total of 260. Check.
I like the over 260 in this one.
The crazy thing is, I'm right there with you. I like the over. Two Civ defenses. The Bucks have been scoring like 135, 140 a game at home. They've been crazy offensively, and we know this Pacers defense on the road did look better against the Rockets and the Bulls, but now you face a legitimate offense, and I think that we're going to see old habits die hard for the Pacers here. So give me the over 260 and a half.
I lean over with you guys. I do. The one I was at in Vegas, it didn't go over. It was under. But the reason it went under is because Damian Lillard couldn't throw a rock in the ocean in the first quarter. That was literally the only reason that game didn't go over. I think Dame in that game was like 0 for 7 in the first quarter. He make 2 of them buckets, then that game probably gets over. The one I was in attendance to. And I think the last one went over. So I'm with you guys. I kind of like the over too. 260 is insane.
The Hornets, they suck. Up against the Nuggets. One thing we know about the Nuggets, when they lose at home outright, oh man, they come back the next game. They beat the shit out of everybody. I'm taking the Nuggets. I think they're 4-0, right? When the last 4 times they've lost at home, they've come back and beaten the crap out of whoever. I'm gonna take the chicken nuggets. I am a little disappointed that Giannis's brother's not playing.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
I'm gonna have to process it.
Oh gosh, and he's gonna be stewing in his feelings all afternoon.
Well, after I'm done journaling about it, I should be fine.
Not the journal. Come on,
do some journaling.
This is where you start spiraling, and I'm not gonna let it happen.
Journaling about it.
It's 2024. Down. This is not how we're starting the new year.
Yeah,
we're starting it without Giannis's brother.
Sad.
They could be phasing him out.
I will not allow this to happen. Oh man. Yeah, give me the Nuggets here as well. The Hornets have given us no reason to think that they could do anything with double digits, even in the mid-teens, getting points. I think they were getting a number similar to this, and they got their teeth kicked in a few days ago. Let me just
Back-to-back games, because they were getting Lakers were laying 12, and then Phoenix was laying like 15.
So they snuck in the back door against Phoenix, getting 15 and a half. I get they covered against the Clippers, they covered against Denver at home, but Denver in Denver is just a much different team. So give me the Nuggets here.
You're right, Chris. They are a different team. You know what they do in Denver?
I'm not gonna say it. You say it.
They go stupid, dummy, crazy in Denver, man. And I'm with Mitch. Off the loss, yeah, won't catch me fading these boys. 4th straight home game for the Nuggets. Comfortable at the crib. Hey, late window in Denver, 8 o'clock. Charlotte, this is going to be their 6th road game in their last 7 games. Oh my God. It's a terrible spot for these boys. These boys is ready to get back to the crib. They've been blown out in 4 of their last 5 and like taken behind the woodshed. And I see nothing changing here. Nuggets, stupid, dummy, crazy.
Suns against the Blazers. Chris, I'm a little sick of the Suns team, to be honest with you. Did not cover last night. I had the Magic in that one. Some people call it a bad beat. I call it a good win.
Had it all the way.
Had it all the way. No doubter.
Yep.
I mean, I can't argue. I mean, I'm on the Portland Trailblazers here. I want to see the injury situation get tightened up a little bit, but I mean, there's no DeAndre Ayton, no Anthony Simons for this game. That stings, and Sharp's out indefinitely. But Phoenix has put up clunkers against less this season. That's even with a full lineup of Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, any combination of the three. 4-11 against the spread as home favorites this season. If I take this one on the chin, so be it. I'm going to take the Portland Trailblazers in the points.
So let me this little span that the Suns are on gives me eerie similar vibes to what the Los Angeles Clippers were doing. They were terrible. I'm talking about terrible. I was fading them nightly. And then they kind of just flipped a switch out of nowhere. They did. And I see the path. I see the switch here for the Suns. You guys know I have not been on these guys a ton this year. I'm on them tonight, though. I'm taking the Suns. I'm laying it. They already beat up on Portland this season in Phoenix, 13-point win. The Blazers did beat them outright the last time they played, 109-104, but bounce back spot at the crib, revenge game. I like the Suns in that spot, and I also hate the spot for the Portland Trailblazers. They're coming off a significant homestand. They just played, 5 of their last 6 at home in Portland. Now they're on the road. Last time we seen them on the road, they got their doors blown off by the Golden State Warriors by 20 points. Yeah. Phoenix, they've won 3 straight. They're kind of starting to put the pieces together. I think this is another spot where they're just head and shoulders the better team, and they take a bad team behind the woodshed.
I like the Blazers in this one. I like the way Scoot's playing. Starting to put it together. 22 points last time out against Jay's Spurs. Yeah, couldn't hold them down.
We're trying to pass them on me, them there. The Big Owls.
The Big Owls. Big Owls, Michigan Spurs. It's gonna be a rough day at the office.
I'm just glad Costi not here today. Oof.
Oh my God.
I wasn't mentally prepared for him today.
Nah.
Shout out Costi.
The nice thing is I don't care about the NFL. That's the beauty of the whole thing. I've made it crystal clear.
Yeah, you have. We understand. We're all suckers.
Pretty much. Grown men screaming MVP in the stands. Like that helps you in any way.
That's my one. That was me in Vegas yelling at Halliburton.
Oh, we got
Best guard in the East. Y'all not see this?
Jazz taking on the Mavericks.
This game scares the living crap out of me, and I'm not betting this game at all today. There.
Wow.
I know.
Well, for me, that puts me on the Mavericks for sure because everyone knows that if Jay's fading the Mavericks or not on the Mavericks, that means it's time to bet the Mavericks. I'm all over the Mavericks. I will lay the extended up to 9.5 in this game. And I like the over. Because here's my thought process on this game. Hear me out. When you look at the Mavericks, right, and you look at all their games, if they score more than 111 points, they win every single time. All the games they've lost, they've scored less than like 110. Almost every game this entire season. And every game they've scored over 110, they win. And I think the odds of the Jazz keeping the Mavericks below 110 are 0. About the same chance of Jim Harbaugh winning a college football bowl game. Slim and none.
I believe
Speaking of Slim, Chris.
Yeah. I just like the shade that was thrown there. Give me the Mavericks here. Also, I'm with you on the over too. The Jazz played their best basketball at home for sure, but that defense still scares me, like you said, and it's Mavericks in the over or pass for me here.
Guys, I'm sitting here. I got my Mavs jammies on. But I can't fade my Utah boys in Utah is what this comes down to, man. I've been on Utah at home more so than anybody on the planet, and I've ridden them to the best home ATS team in basketball. They're 11-3 against the number at the crib. They've covered in 78.6% of their home games. That's just something I'm not trying to fade. But on the other side, there's a reason why I'm not just taking them either, because my Mavs, they're the second best road ATS team in basketball. They're 12-6 against the number on the road, covered in 66.7% of their games. Straight up out on the road, man. These boys is 11-7. They be hooping out there. It's a tough game. The reason the line is so short is because Utah be hooping in Utah. That's the reason. That is the reason. Utah be hooping out there, bro. And I don't know if people know that. Just know that for sure.
Jay, they said the same thing when the Panthers played my Cowboys.
I know.
It just seems the same thing. It's the Utah freaking Jazz.
I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't. So
if Jay picks the Mavs, he's a homer. He goes against him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, they did beat San Antonio, Toronto, and Detroit, as well as the Brooklyn Nets. So look out. Not the Blazers, though.
But yeah, that's a tough one for me, fellas. If I'm gonna lean Mavs, but I'm not betting this game. I'm not.
That's fine. Well, the rest of us will be betting it. We got the Clippers and the Heat.
Two teams I despise. Ugh.
Clippers 7-point favorites at home in this one.
No Jimmy, right?
Don't believe so.
Yeah, he's out.
Out. Lowry, questionable. Kawhi, questionable.
What would Kawhi do?
He's sitting.
He's
calling Beal up on the phone. Hey, what's happening, man?
WWKD. What would Kawhi do?
Is it me here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with what I gave out in the video. I'm taking the Heat and the points. It just feels like too many points to begin with, but especially for a Heat team that just, no matter what injury situation they're dealing with, they just always seem to find a way. And still, a decent Clippers team, but like I said, I think the Heat just find a way to battle, keep this one close. They still got Hawkes, which is big. So give me the Heat and the points.
I faded Miami in their last game. I had the Jazz. It was actually my play of the day that day. I'm jumping back on the Heat here. I usually only bet Miami when they're on the road. You guys know I hate Miami in Miami. But on the road, getting a bundle of points is a typical Miami style spot. Would I be surprised if the Clippers came out here and throttled them, won by like 10, 12? I wouldn't be surprised with the injuries, the way that with the way the Heat injury report looks right now. But even with the way it looks, I really do believe the side in this game is Miami. I think Clippers probably go through the motions, win the game late. Miami plays its style basketball, competitive, tough nature, and they get the cover.
All right. Any NHL today, Chris? Is the outdoor game? Do they have the outdoor game?
Yeah, the outdoor game, Seattle, Vegas.
Seattle, outdoor. Welcome
To the greatest,
Supersonics. Sonics are playing outdoors also. So what do you think in this one, the outdoor game, the winter, what do they call it, the Winter Classic?
Yeah, the Winter Classic.
It's kind of lost a little bit of its luster, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Now that
it used to be like a big deal. Now it's kind of like a little less of a deal.
It used to be really special. Now they do so many outdoor games that it's diluted. It doesn't mean as much anymore. But
are they playing this where the Mariners play?
Yeah, they're playing T-Mobile Park.
That's hard because the Mariners Park is one of the best in baseball. Like, looks wise. Yeah. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I like that.
and I actually like the Kraken here. Normally I like Vegas.
Yeah, the smoking Kraken.
Yeah, no Griffey Jr. No Griffey Jr.
But the goaltending's actually been playing really well for Seattle lately. They've been able to pick up some wins.
Julio gonna be there?
He might. I think he's taking the opening faceoff.
For real? Julio Rodriguez?
No, I'm talking shit.
Oh, you got me. For real.
Jay bit on that hook, line, and sinker.
They're gonna have Siakam.
They can take him. Yeah, I just think that the Kraken played some solid defense lately. I just think Vegas is struggling right now. So give me Seattle. We're getting nice value with them at plus money here.
Roof smoking Kraken. We're smoking it together. I'm on Seattle in Seattle. I don't like fading the Golden Knights. I don't. But today, Winter Classic, I'm on the Kraken. And y'all know it don't take me much to get on the Kraken.
All right. College hoops, just a lot of bad games. Anything on here that anybody likes?
Parlay up Texas with Texas and college football. Just do the Texas parlay. Or if you just want to stick college hoops, go Texas Tech, A&M Commerce. Just this card right here was for me. They specifically had this college hoops card for me.
It could be a real bad day. I think you're better off Mavericks. Just Mavericks. Solo. Stick with what you know. Stick with what we expect. He always takes the Mavericks.
There we go.
It's like he doesn't even have the video up, and people are saying Mavs.
Oh boy. I go Texas Tech. Top of my list here. I lean towards UT Arlington as well, but I think Texas Tech my favorite play here.
Ever?
Of the 4 games on the card on.
I like Arlington plus the points. I got roasted with Greensboro against Texas, so why not go back to the well? I got crushed in that Greensboro game. They scored 37 points.
Texas defense was looking amazing that game. Well, you think it was more about the defense or Greensboro just couldn't buy a basket?
It was that I bet on Greensboro. I mean, that's pretty much what it was.
Greensboro was doing their best Willard in Vegas impersonation.
It was clearly that I bet on Greensboro. You could ask anybody in the YouTube comments; they'll tell you that. I never win.
It was your fault. They were gonna cover until you placed a bet on them.
I never win. It's like, what happens to my 7 free picks cards? I just picked them up all. It's weird because like I have the screen here, and it's like
So you write them down every day for?
Yeah, I write it down on the card. I read them. That's why I read them off. Like where's today's?
How long does it take you to go through the betting tools and find the ones you want?
Not that long. Not that.
Hi,
long.
it's Mitch from Pick Dogs.
We're doing 7 free picks. It's gonna take us about 5 minutes. This show works. Go to the betting tools, pick out 7 picks of the thousands of picks that are available there every single day.
Hey everyone, it's Ruffolo.
Hey,
I suck at the impersonations. I suck.
David from pickdogs.com.
I suck.
Hey, David from
I want to know who's
Pick
great at
Dogs.
impersonations.
Huh?
So yesterday on the show, I said anyone that wants to join the Pick Dogs team to shoot me an email and all this stuff. I told him to just shoot me an email. And so one guy shoots me this long ass email, like telling me like how he's done all this YouTube and done all this other stuff. No samples, not a link, not an example. I sent him back right away. I mean, I got the email right away. I said, "Can you send me a link to see the YouTube?" Nothing. It's like, you don't answer me back in full day. I'll tell you what, you will not be joining the team. It's like, I'm not known for my patience.
The patience of a fly.
Well, the thing is, especially since I answered right back. I mean, it was right back.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Speaking of parlays, what do you like?
I'm gonna go with.
We're going to get out of here before the noon kickoff, man.
Oh man, look at us.
What were the odds of that happening? No one ever takes the under on this show.
500. That was
I mean, the over on this show is one of the safest bets in town.
yes, sir.
Let's go all NBA for mine. I'm gonna go under in under in Seattle Raptors, Cleveland Cavaliers. We're gonna go with the Denver Nuggets, and we're gonna go with the Miami Heat plus the points.
It's gonna be ugly. But it's okay. I think we're in good shape. We're gonna go Knicks, Raptors, Suns.
What is that buzzing sound? I like.
It's my phone. Right
It's the buzzer going because it did it right after he took Michigan.
I like the over in the Bucks Pacers game. Let's get one thing out of the way here. I like that over in the Bucks Pacers. I like whoever's playing the Phoenix Suns, the Portland Trailblazers, and I like the Seattle Supersonics against the Pistons. Or against the Cavs. I'll take the Cavs. Sorry. Wrong team. I just like saying Supersonics. Liberty all over Boyce, 48-21. Save some of that for a football game. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Another year here at Pick Dogs. As I announced on yesterday's show, we have a new co-host on Wednesdays. And, yeah.
Thanks, Did you hear that news, Ruffolo?
No.
Oh.
Hey,
now you have. Now you have. Well, if you showed up for Sunday shows, you would hear this stuff.
Let's play the guessing game. Do you know who it is?
No.
All right. Good.
Any guesses? Any guesses?
No.
How do you keep Ruffalo in suspense? I'll tell you tomorrow.
I don't like this.
I'll give you a clue. Starts with Ron, ends with Romanelli.
And he works for Vegas.
And he works for Vegas. Asked to be on Wednesday morning shows. We said yes. See everybody tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. It's a new year. It's a new day. Same Jim Harbaugh. Make it a winning day. We appreciate each and every one of you. Chris, anything else to say?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bleeding orange.
Bleeding Pick Dogs.
No longer black and gold. It's orange.
Tony Brown. What about Tony Brown? All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow.